with Brian Bradley from Egoscue. He is committed to helping me with this problem. Many of you may have noticed, as a surgeon, I'm always bent over, and so I'm becoming a little kyphotic. Lisa's complaining to me. I'm not alone. Happens to a lot of folks, especially men. Help me, Brian, help me.
Well, the help doesn't really come from going after this. You have to go after the actual cause, which the rest of the spine sits on top of a stable or unstable pelvis. So our goal at Egoscue is to balance out the pelvis through all the muscles and the alignment, which will stop the rounding over compensation. And yeah, listen, you doctors, you're here, and if you're in the dental world, you're like this. You almost give up your own health for us. So thank you for that, but you're paying for it.
The turtling will help this maneuver, which is the other
100%. That's going
that causes headaches because you've got this bowling ball, basically 14, 15 pounds skull that's way up. It's not like this instead of back. Okay, so you told me to get on my back.
Yeah, lie on your back, knees bent. We call this the hook lying position. So you're just relaxing down there. Just rest for about 10 seconds. I'm just going to let you settle here. And then we're going to go through an abdominal exercise as it relates to the action. So the action is going to be here, but the real action is going to be what I'm not going to allow you to do with your shoulders and arms, because most people, what do? They pull up like this. There's no pull in the back of your head. So interlace your hands behind your head, all the way together, nice and comfortable. Your elbows are on the ground. And now put your bottoms of your feet together, drop your knees out. This is called the frog position. Those of you who've done yoga before have done this before. Yes, you'll feel a little bit of an arch of your back that happened. That's natural. Don't flatten it. It will flatten on its own.
Okay.
Look straight up and back, and we're only going to do 20 crunches like this, but you're only coming up about an inch off the ground, and your elbows hit the ground on the way down. Go half that distance and double the speed. There we go. 3, 4. And notice how the elbows do not pull forward toward the head, the face, or the ears, and the legs stay in this position because now we're getting a reaction out of the pelvis as we change the upper body position.
You know, the hard part is getting my elbows to come down first, because my natural instinct is to do this.
Yes, and that's leading you into a more rounded back. So you're actually training abs and getting worse because you're pulling your upper back into that rounded position.
No more sit-ups.
we better tell your trainer, whoever you're working out with. But notice what you're doing. You're really creating the change up here. If you were in a thoracic unit doing surgery, I would say, okay, doc, take a break. Let's go do this exercise and the next one before your next patient. So we could reset you for the sport of surgery.
I guess I can walk around like this as well. Hands behind the head.
It would be huge. Like if you were to walk the beach line or anything like that, and walk around your property for 3 or 4 minutes just with your hands on your head like that, that would be huge. Okay, take a break.
Okay.
Now let's have you close up into a fetal position like this. So you want to roll over to the side. Yep, bring your knees up to 90 degrees, just like this. So this is 90, 90, 90. You're on the side of your shoulder. Take your right hand and put it here. So this holds your knees together. You see how these two knees are here? I don't want them sliding apart like this as you open up. This stays perpendicular to the floor. This opens up to the other side, and lightly look left. You don't have to crank it. And then let's really get in touch with deep, deep breathing down here. So right into your mid back or low back where the kidney is, I want you to breathe in deeper, 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 deeper. It almost lifts you up. Then breathe it out, and that'll give you another inch drop.
Wow.
Now breathe in again, deep, 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 and then drop back down. And because of where that diaphragm sits, you're now engaging a much different airflow, but more importantly, the rib cage is expanding, which is going to allow this to open up. So we're really helping out your mid-back just by using your breathing. If you could diaphragmatically breathe, you could literally put me out of business. If people could really get their diaphragm working, you could solve a back pain problem.
Yeah, my left hand's on the ground now, which it definitely was not.
Now look to the left. So now, because we know this is opening, we can probably get a little bit more movement in your neck and head. That's why I'm not really concerned about that. This moves this, and this is stable down here. Give me 3 more breaths like that. So really get deep here into the kidney area, more, and then breathe it out. Let it go all the way. Now breathe it in again. It almost lifts the shoulder up off the ground, and then breathe it out again. 1 more. Notice your elbows hitting now. We stay there long enough, we're eventually going to get your shoulder blade. So switch sides. So the cumulative effect of this is day by day, week by week. So 90, 90, 90, put the left hand here. That holds this together. And now you're going to just open that up to the right. This stays. And now get into the breathing back here. Good. Breathe in. Nice and slow. The hand's going to hit. And then it'll come up as you're breathing. And then as that shoulder is going to let go, when the mid-back and the breathing start to dictate the movement in the upper back. If you want to solve a neck symptom, don't go after the neck. Don't go after text neck or the head being forward. Go after the rest of the spine all the way down to the pelvis.
So you mentioned text neck for people who are frozen forward, this same exercise.
All of them. And especially the one we're going into next, which a lot of people have done in yoga, the cat-cow, which we call cat-dog. Just point the toes back. Show me what a typical cat-dog looks like, where you just push with your arms and back, like you just push straight up. So that's just range of motion that you're going through. I want deliberate range of motion. So I want the first thing to move to be your pelvis, the second is your mid-back, and the third is your head. So go into one of those two positions and hold. So stay there, look up. And you can have your elbows bent in this a little bit to give you some advantage to create this little wrinkling in your upper back. Now, do not move these two first. Move your pelvis the other way first by engaging your abs, yes. Then your mid-back pushes to the ceiling, and then your head drops. Hold that. Now unlock that and drop your pelvis first. Beautiful. And then the mid-back goes elbows straight now, as straight as possible to allow this. Now unlock it at the hip again. Give me 4 more. Mid-back, head, mid-back, right there, elbows straight. When you finally get it, when you lock these, then you can go to straight. And now pelvis first, beautiful. Mid-back, then your head. Pelvis first. Straighten the arms, head. Give me 1 more. You see how you really have to concentrate on this, or your head and shoulders want to take over. Yeah. Which is what leads you into this problem area that you were talking about before. And every surgeon I've worked with suffers from the same thing. Let's try static extension. So start in the cat dog first. So everything's straight up and down in this quadruped position. Walk your hand 1 length forward. Yes. Now put your shoulders right over your hands. You'll notice how your hips now are about 4 to 5 inches ahead of your knees. That's the start position. Head drops first on this one, opposite of the cat dog. Second one is bring your shoulder blades together, elbows straight. So we're getting a lot of wrinkling right here, and then let the lower back drop, so let it sway like the old sway back horse. If in any way this was too much stress on your back, I would have you move back to here. That would decrease the pull on the back. But if your back can handle that little bit of work, which I would call work, not pain, you hold this position for a minute, and what you're really doing is firing these deep, deep hip muscles on the front side of your pelvis. Those hip flexors are now at work, elbows straight, head down. This exercise is an amazing one if you want to decrease, even though your head is hanging, the reaction of this, your head will come back out of text neck position. But this is good for you because, you're going to try cobra, downward dog from yoga, that kind of stuff, and there's specific ways to do those. We'll go into those next. Okay, so come out of this, just take a break for a second, and then I'm just going to let you get into your typical cobra, up dog, and then downward dog. Show me what the up dog looks like first. So this would be, in my world, this is cobra on hands. So this is what you would do. You would set up and really sink into these shoulder blades. And then you want this to arch down here. A lot of people, if you don't have movement in the lower back, then it fulcrums right here at L5S1, and that's where the symptom is. Yeah. Now go up into the down dog from here. Okay, so don't move your hands and feet toward each other at all. I want you to kill the word push. Don't push from here. I want you to take your pelvis, and I want you to pull up and back toward the window behind you. So you want to pull way up and back, and that will move this into a flatter position. Instead of pushing here, we are pulling up and back. And then if you were really suffering from, this is really tight, I would say come up onto the balls of your feet more. That'll decrease as you pull back. And if you were even more, I'd say bend your knees like 10 degrees and then work on tilting the pelvis. That'll take all that lack of what people call flexibility in the back of the leg.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Hold that, and now lock your legs out. Pull your hips up and back. 10 more seconds, and then I want you to go back to the up dog cobra position. So go ahead into it now and just see what that feels like going into it when you transition into this. What's the difference once you're up and in it?
Well, that's a lot more flexible. I feel like my whole spine's like a slinky.
Correct. So the word flexibility is usually tied to let's stretch a muscle versus what did I say? Pull yourself back is a muscle activation movement, not a stretch. So you get an increase in flexibility by not stretching. You get an increase in flexibility by going after the reason why the muscle tissue is tight in the first place. Go back up into the down dog. Don't move your hands and feet. Now pull yourself back. Don't push with your arms. Think about just pulling from the midsection, tailbone up, so this goes flat. And then I know you like to do some push-ups too. You could literally go into a bent knee downward dog, spread your feet out a little bit. You could literally sit in a bent knee downward dog, which by the way, loads up your whole Achilles and ankle better, which for you is a very good thing for the ankle and foot to go through this. And then transition from there right into a push-up position and go give me one push-up with your shoulder blades pinned together, even at the top. Now back into that bent knee downward dog. And remember, you pulled yourself back into this.
Yes.
Now go back out into the push-up again, shoulder blades collapsed, down, and pull yourself back again. Hold this. So you could actually, you could bring this type of calisthenic movement into the end of the routine to give you a little bit of strength to come out of it and go, I actually did some work.
So that's the basic back workout that hopefully will deal with some of this kyphosis. And there's a last pose, which I'm hoping people will actually enjoy, which is lying your back.
So I want you here, lying down on your back with both legs up over top of here. Now this honestly is what we call at Egoscue the silver bullet. It's a very simple exercise and it's anatomically safe. So you're not really tweaking yourself that much, but just relax in this position and compare it to when I had you in this before just as a test. What does this feel like now in relation to the lower back, the right shoulder, the left shoulder? What's the difference?
My back is flat, it feels comfortable, and the shoulders are both on the ground, and only my left shoulder was on before.
Yep.
And this is my ultimate personal test. I can put my hands above my head, and it doesn't ache my upper spine, that I know I'm doing well. And I think a lot of it's just, when you're hunched over a computer or a patient, and you get that sort of bent back, it gets stuck like that.
This is why we would say, train for the sport of surgery as a surgeon. You're the quarterback. The quarterback has to do some training or the arm can't throw.
It's the same problem for people hunched over a computer.
100%.
Try to make a living with their family.
How about a mother with 3 or 4 children and their body starts to give way and you have all this stress at home?
Yeah.
Let's take away some stress and you have control of this by going through things like this.
So you stay like this for a few minutes.
I would put your hands down to the side, 45 degrees, palms up, and I would just let the body settle here. Like literally you could fall asleep for 15, 20 minutes here. If I have a layover in the airport, I put a sweatshirt down and I'm on my back in the United Lounge like this.
A luxury we all desire. For how long till this bump in my back and my general belief that my spine is healthy comes clear?
Same day.
Same day.
But does it hold is the question, right? So if you came into me like this and then you left like this, you've opened up a window of going, wow, I'm finally 6'1" and I was 5'11", you're 6'1", but how long does that window stay open before it closes again? And that's when you do it the next day and the window doesn't close as much. And then 30 days into it, your body holds this position. So I don't do stage work or anything like that, where I'm gonna walk out and talk to people going, I gotta put myself here. I'm already there because I have a lot of years doing it.
So you got the best here, Brian Bradley, giving you tips. Invaluable, my friend.
I appreciate you.
See if you notice if I'm standing a little more alert. In fact, I see if my head is more centered as well.
Yeah.
All this asymmetry that I was doing before. This used to be me. I feel better like this.